The Cloud Adoption Framework is your guide to making the most of your cloud investment. Most organizations are adopting to the cloud, and the Cloud Adoption Framework is a set of best practices, tools, which is being provided by almost all the cloud vendors: Oracle, AWS, Microsoft, Google. Today we will go through in depth about the Cloud Adoption Framework, and then in the subsequent sessions we will go and we will discuss Cloud Adoption Framework from each cloud vendors. So let's start. Let's hear first intro.
Welcome to the OTech Talks podcast, where it's all about working on technologies. You will hear the latest tech information, and your host, Kashif Manzoor, brings together product overviews, how-tos, best practices, tips and tricks, and troubleshooting techniques.
Welcome to OTech Talks podcast. Your host, Kashif Manzoor, is with you. Today's session number is 99. So we're almost one down, one to go. Right? So we're going to complete 100 sessions of learning and sharing. Most welcome if you're new to the show or your existing audience or existing fellow community member. Thank you so much. I'm very humbled that you are with me and you're listening and you're sharing your feedback. Open Tech Talks is weekly sandbox for technology insights, experimentation, and inspiration with the primary objective of learning and sharing. And today, what we are going to do, there's one announcement I want to make it that what I was thinking is to start even the weekly newsletter. I'm getting hard time to get extra time, but I'm just thinking even maybe it could be on weekend or maybe on the last day of the week or mid of the week to have one weekly newsletter which will be published on otechtalks.tv, and it will cover maybe the most latest information. It's a curated information or maybe audited information, audited links, so that it can help you. It will help all of us. Some of the new learning or announcements are sharing on in the world of cloud, AI, data science, or digital transformation. So it will be a curated list, and I will try it whatever is coming every week. We will continue with every week. So you will find a new tab in otechtalks.tv. You can search over there and you can find over there. So please subscribe to the newsletter. Now let's come back to our topic of today. Cloud Adoption Framework is a set of best practices, tools, and guides that most cloud vendors publish. The idea behind these cloud adoption frameworks is to assist organizations like you, like me, or all the customers, all the vendors, even the system integrators, partners, public sector, to embrace public cloud securely, efficiently, and faster. The Cloud Adoption Framework comprises each phase of cloud acceptance, from planning to living in the cloud. It provides a very well-tested checklist and steps to choose the right path for cloud migration and the right tools to help reduce potential security, governance, and budget problems. The good thing about the Cloud Adoption Framework is that it covers technological, people, processes, and business aspects. So that's I like the most, that it should cover all the areas rather than only focusing on the technical aspects of the technology solutions or the digital aspects of in the digital transformation. Therefore, it helps to align business strategies with the culture, business, and technology inspirations to achieve the business benefits. That's the whole objective of, right? So cloud is major contributor to digital transformation adoption. So if any company or any organization is going through the journey of cloud or moving some of their workloads, systems, applications to cloud, then definitely they want to know from where to start and where to end. Right. So that's what the idea behind providing this cloud adoption framework. So the cloud adoption framework is our guide to make the most of your cloud investment. Most organizations are adopting to cloud, and if you recall in our previous session, but however we'll just refer again, as per the IDG 2020 cloud computing study reveals that 92% of the organizations are somewhat in the cloud. And I'm referring in the each episode, in each session, usually you will find all the links in the reference on the blogs or in the episode text notes. So you'll find all the reference. So this IDG 2020 cloud computing study survey, the link you will find it in the show notes. So we are not talking about without any reference. If I miss something, I apologize for that one. But I will try. I'm trying my best. 99% to add anything which we are referring in the show notes, and to give the credit to those authors or the organizations who are publishing these studies and articles. Now, organization, we understand. So coming back to the point of 92% of organizations are somewhat in the cloud. So organizations must adapt to the cloud with proper planning and strategy in place. That shows that they are already doing it. So what I am observing, based on my experience working with different organizations, that even if the organization has the strategy, so what happens sometime is that it's a high level strategy which is linked to the broader or strategy of digital transformation. And then what happens? They just pick and choose, and they start consuming the cloud. With the migration of simple applications, right, I don't have any proper framework or rules to follow. That's one of the challenge I observed personally. Another challenge I'm seeing is that organizations don't have clear visibility to their digital state. So if you recall our previous sessions, I think session number 94, 95 or 97, where we spoke about how to do the assessment of the digital state. And that's very important because most of the time organizations are missing this part, that they don't know what type of assets or systems and compatibility and all those areas are not available. So that's why we have done one session on, if you knew how to develop a cloud migration strategy, even cloud migration workload assessment, what you need to do, workload migration to cloud, getting started. So these are 94, 93, 91 sessions. So the most important is cloud migration workload assessment, how you will be doing it. Right. So that's what we need to do, and we understand. When you start planning about cloud or migration, the first question that comes in mind is to discover or assess the current IT state, which sometimes becomes painful to complete. Sometimes what is being observed is that the relevant stakeholders don't know where to start, and the requirements or initial checklists they need to follow to migrate to the cloud. So all these are the typical challenges which we are observing. Now, according to Gartner, if we map to the trends impacting cloud adoption, there are 4 critical areas. So there is an article published by Gartner, which is with the name as 4 Trends Impacting Cloud Adoption in 2020. This is contributor Megan Hummel. So in which what she, by 2023, the leading cloud service providers will have a distributed ATM-like presence to serve a subset of their services. So now these 4 trends, what they're talking about, according to Gartner, are: first, cost optimization will drive cloud adoption. So through 2024, nearly all legacy applications migrated to public cloud infrastructure as a service will require optimization to become more cost effective. Right, so cloud providers, the vendors will continue to strengthen their native optimization capabilities to help organizations select the most cost effective architecture that can deliver the required performance. So that's why, if you see these cloud adoption strategies or frameworks are in place. Second point, according to the article, is multi-cloud will reduce vendor lock-in. Multi-cloud strategies will reduce vendor dependency for 2/3 of organizations through 2024. However, this will primarily happen in ways other than application portability. Number 3, insufficient cloud IaaS, infrastructure as service skills, will delay migrations. We are also observing this one. Through 2022, insufficient cloud infrastructure as a service skills will delay half of enterprise IT organizations' migration to the cloud by 2 years or more. By 2 years. So today's cloud migration strategies tend more toward lift and shift than toward modernization or refactoring. However, lift and shift projects, do not develop native cloud skills. So this is creating a market where service providers cannot train and certify people quickly enough to satisfy the need for skills cloud professionals. So that's another third important point. 4 factors, distributed cloud will support expanded service availability. By 2023, the leading cloud service providers will have a distributed ATM-like presence to serve a subset of their services for low latency application requirements. Many cloud service providers are already investing in ways to make their service available closer to the user that they need to access them. So these are the 4 challenges shared by the Gartner in the cloud adoptions, right? So apart from cloud acceptance, the factors that 92% of organizations are already doing it, and there are still challenges or delays which are impacting it. So now we link the way organizations are starting the cloud adoption, then what are the challenges, common 4 challenges according to Gartner, and then there's no doubt that each organization is unique with the operating system, model, product, services, organization infrastructure, and technology. Each organization is unique. Now, adopting the cloud also depends on the business functions, services, and applications are used in the organization, right? So it will be unique to every organization to have their own path, their own way of doing it. What is the first application or system need to be moved? However, as we are seeing, most organizations are moving to the cloud. So we can say there's a pattern emerging. And these patterns are leading to build and support these frameworks. So we can say these frameworks are the results of these patterns concluded from a large number of cloud migration journeys. So now what industry generally is talking about these cloud migration patterns or cloud adoption frameworks. So what I found another one I like it, example of the work done by the Open Data Center Alliance Cloud Adoption Framework. So this is also available in the show notes. So this is version 1.0 from the Open Data Center Alliance Cloud Adoption Framework. So they have published, and there are some, around 7-8 folks have contributed to that one. And I will just, talk about how they took it. The approach is, from a top to bottom, where my application, service, function, and then the key areas are business view, functional view, technical view, implementation view. So that's where even we did a session earlier that we were talking about the workload-centric approach we need to have. So you start from a business view point of view, enterprise strategy, objectives. Functional view, we were talking about enterprise strategy again, objectives, target platform, capability, portability. right? And the technical view is enterprise strategy, objectives, target platform, compliance and data protection, IT architecture, function, application operations, target platform, security, development, management tools. From an implementation point of view, again goes back to enterprise strategy, objectives, business disruption, compliance, data and protection, geography and law, integration, portfolio management, skills, commercial, governance, migration, exit plan. So these are under the 4 key areas. There are sectional viewpoints. So these viewpoints are important. That how you do it, and then they have mentioned a method how you will be doing these adoption framework. From a business view summary questions to go to functions inventory, then application inventory, then the mapping, and then defining why cloud services inventory, and then the application design. So it's like in a sequential steps are provided by the Open Data Alliance Cloud Adoption Framework. So you must go through this one. It's a short and concise. It gives you the head start. So that's another one of that one. There are a number of in industry papers presented in the IEEE conferences, and the one I will mention is presented during 2017 International Conference on Information Systems and Computer Science with the name Unified Cloud Computing Adoption Framework. So in this paper, the authors, what they did is they checked all the cloud adoption frameworks, whatever are available in the market, and then they basically summarized it from their own point of view. So again, this is available in the show notes. So how they described it is, 6-step process from a proposed framework point of view. Current situation definition, requirements definition, then third providers analysis, providers assessment, decision, and then migration. The most I like interesting and I think very well structured enterprise cloud adoption framework developed and shared by MITRE organization, and they target areas to address is the political leadership, organizational, economic, technical, and security factors. And they're very well structured and detailed. Slide deck is available, and I will add it to the show notes. So if you want to start with one, I think this is Katie Warren Enterprise Cloud Adoption Framework, 11 September 2018, published on their website. And they talk about first from a cloud adoption challenges point of view, governments, cloud, driver for technology change, and moving to multi-cloud environments. And then the part I like it is enterprise cloud engineering POET model. And in that, what they said is that, okay, enterprise cloud adoption need to, set of factors which are dependent on it or maybe linked to that one. One is political. When we say political, mean drivers for change, leadership commitment, organization structure, responsibility, authority, accountability, cultural capability, mission criticality. That's how the enterprise cloud adoption is categorized. Political, then organizational point of view, from processes, people, SLA management, collaboration, innovation, time to solution deployment. Very important points. Economic, the heading is economic, and from a cost savings, transition investment, return on investment, productivity. And then goes to technical, where planned cloud type, EA maturity, enterprise architecture maturity, right? Application design, platform architecture, infrastructure architecture, integration. And then the security, risk exposure, risk management framework, data sensitivity, security policies and processes, security operations. So based on these cloud engineering model, they have provided a enterprise cloud adoption framework. And then what they did is I have added even the screenshot from with reference to their slide deck and everything. You will find out over there. So that's available if you wanna go and get that one. And in that one, they on the left side, political, organizational, economic, and technical and security areas, and then start from the creating the vision. And when we create the vision, we need to think from a political, organizational, economic, technical, security point of view. When we say creating a vision for cloud adoption, assess cloud readiness within organization. What are the drivers? Then we need to develop the vision, goals, and priorities. Right? And if you go to our earlier session when we were discussing about cloud strategy, these are discussed in more detail. In organization point of view, you need to have a defined scope via business scenarios, identify stakeholders. You need to, from economic point of view, you need to establish risk tolerance. Then technically understand state of technology in industry. What is happening in the industry? Establishing security tolerance, right? And then you will have to determine return on investment and objectives. Addressing the law, regulation, policy, development objectives, identifying stakeholder objectives, determine return on investments. Then analyzing the state of technology, and then knowing the threat environment, all those areas. Then establishing governance and enterprise architecture. And this is one of the important area that enterprise architects, if you have a center of excellence or you have an EA practices in place, they are the key in the whole cloud adoption strategy. So you need to establish governance and oversight. You need to plan stakeholders. You need to build business case, perform risk analysis, categorize and select controls, then specify solution concepts, right? On which way you want to go, which method, those refactoring, lift and shift, modernization, on all those areas. Then you're creating a strategy. Then then you need to develop measures, because based on this strategy, you need to measure them, right? So establishing a technology investment strategy, update acquisition policy, develop as is to be transition, security policies, define cloud security architecture, all these ones, from creating a strategy, developing a measures, what are the KPIs, performance, frameworks, cost measures, technical measures, and then assessing the IT investments. IT investment business case, evaluate processes, reduce dependencies, assess and security privacies, then identify candidates. Then you will come into point where you need to prove and fund best candidates, determine migration type, architectures, perform risk assessment, portfolio analysis, and then you go to implementation, where you need to manage strategic partnerships, implementing acquired services, manage acquisition risks, develop and execute migration plan, and then operate, then optimize. So this is how sequential. Create the vision, determine return on investment objective, establish governance and EA practices, specify solution concept, create strategy, develop measures, assess IT investments, identify candidates, implement, operate, optimize. So that's how this cloud adoption framework is created by MITRE organization, creating from visions to even operating it. And it has a quite adoption process, goes from readiness assessment to strategies to preparation, adoption, implementation, operations, and optimization. So I like it, and then I will share in the show notes. So please feel free to go ahead and download it, and you can use it for your own strategy. And even I was thinking to prepare I think sample Excel sheet or some format from the adoption strategy. Now, till now we have covered what is industry talking about, are generally frameworks available. till now we haven't gone to the different cloud vendors, because each cloud vendor has provided their own framework. And this starts from Oracle OCI Cloud Adoption Framework, then Azure Cloud Adoption Framework, AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, IBM, the Cloud Adoption Playbook, then Google Cloud Adoption Framework. So all these are available as part of from each and every cloud vendor. But I would like to emphasize that I think before going to cloud vendor specific adoption framework, let's go to the basics, that what should be ideal for me, for my organization, for you, and for your organization. That's why I've shared some references which are globally accepted and available from an Open Data Center Alliance, which is part of, I think, from being managed by, I think, internal under the Linux Foundation. So starting from that, and then these type of independent organizations who provide you some basic structures. So once you established the know-how, the basics of cloud adoption framework, then when you will go to the vendor specific cloud adoption frameworks, you will be able to more clearly and easily identify and find a way or gaps or what should be ideal for your organization. And it's another learning, for frankly, to learn about the cloud adoption framework from a vendor's point of view. So with this, I was thinking to even cover some short summary of each vendor specific, but I think we will go into the next session where we will talk about each vendor's cloud adoption framework. We'll do we'll do a summary of each cloud vendor's assessment, or so that how they are taking it, so that by listening this podcast you will have the full clarity that what are the basics and ideas behind cloud adoption framework, what is commonly available in the industry, and then how these are being addressed by different cloud vendors. That's it. That's the whole point to share with you. Once again, thank you so much. We will, I think, stop here and to talk to you next week. Once again, thank you so much. If you are an IT expert or a beginner or a newbie in a cloud applications, infrastructure, or machine learning, digital executive, digital transformation executive, please feel free to reach me out on any social channel or on the otechtalks.tv. Love to have you as a guest. Sometimes a few guests are coming on the show podcast due to my busy schedule, and the guests are also coming on the show. So hopefully we'll get more guests. We'll keep talking to them. We'll keep learning from them. Once again, have a blessed life. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the O Tech Talks podcast, and be part of Tech Talks at otechtalks.tv. It's a turf to share ideas, insights, and innovations.